Have you ever wondered why some people win the lottery? Millions, even billions. Yet within 3 to 5 years, they end up broke again? Sometimes their lives are even worse than before they ever won. And on the other side of the spectrum, why do some entrepreneurs lose everything? Their companies collapse, their assets disappear, they drown in debt. Yet somehow, within a few short years, they rise again and reclaim their wealth. This phenomenon looks like an anomaly. It makes no sense if we see poverty as merely a mathematical problem, or wealth as just a matter of numbers in a bank account. Because if poverty were only about not having money, lottery winners should stay rich forever. And if wealth were only about luck, bankrupt entrepreneurs would never recover. But the truth is far deeper. The real answer lies in something invisible, something that quietly controls almost every aspect of our lives. Your mental container, your mindset. Money is only an amplifier. Here is a hard truth most people don't want to hear. Money is not the solution. Money is an amplifier. It doesn't change who you are. It magnifies who you already are. If you have a wasteful mindset, more money will only make you waste more on a bigger scale. If you live in fear and anxiety, money will only make you more paranoid. If you lack discipline, money will expose it faster. This is the core thesis we're breaking down today. 90% of poverty, financial poverty, relationship poverty, even emotional poverty, does not begin with an empty wallet. It begins with a poor mind. An empty wallet is just a symptom, an output, the result of faulty software running inside your head. And as long as we obsess over fixing the hardware, side hustles, loans, get-rich-quick schemes, without reinstalling the software, we will keep returning to the same 0 point over and over. The financial thermostat. Let's go deeper. Imagine a room with a thermostat set at 20 degrees Celsius. If the weather outside gets hot and you open the window, the temperature might rise temporarily, but the thermostat will detect the change and turn on the air conditioner, bringing the temperature back to 20. Humans have the same system, a mental thermostat programmed in the subconscious mind. If your internal setting is just enough or always lacking, then no matter how much money comes into your life, through bonuses, inheritance, luck, or sudden success, your subconscious will find a way to get rid of the excess. Unexpected accidents, broken electronics, bad investments, being scammed, impulsive spending. The money feels hot in your hands because mentally you are not prepared to hold it. That's why escaping poverty must begin by raising the thermostat, not just pouring more money into the system. Mental prison number 1, victim mentality. This is a psychological state where a person believes their suffering is caused entirely by external forces, the government, the economy, their parents, their boss, their partner, or even God. The inner narrative sounds like this: I'm poor because of them. I failed because the situation was unfair. On the surface, this mindset feels comforting. Why? Because being a victim removes responsibility. If the government is to blame, I don't need to self-reflect. If my parents failed me, I don't need to change. Blame becomes a sedative. It soothes the ego while life falls apart. But the price of that comfort is enormous. You give away your power. The moment you point your finger outward, you silently declare that you have no control over your own life. You become a passenger in your own existence. Wealthy-minded individuals are different. They have a strong internal locus of control. They may be cheated, they may be born poor, they may go bankrupt during a crisis, but they say, "This is my responsibility. Not my fault,
but my responsibility. Responsibility creates action. Blame creates paralysis. The moment you take responsibility, you take back the steering wheel. One story, two destinies. There is a classic story of two brothers who grew up with the same father, an alcoholic, abusive, and poor man. As adults, the older brother became a criminal and a drunk living on the streets. When asked why his life turned out this way, he said, "With a father like that, how could I be anything else?" The younger brother became a successful lawyer with a stable family and a clean life. When asked the same question, he answered with the exact same words. "With a father like that, how could I allow myself to become like him?" Same background, same trauma, completely different outcomes. Because it's not the event that shapes your future, it's the meaning you assign to it. Mental prison number 2, scarcity mindset. This is the second prison, the belief that money, opportunity, love, and success are limited, like a single cake. If someone else gets a bigger slice, there's less for you. This mindset creates envy, resentment, and chronic fear. When people with scarcity mindsets see others succeed, they feel pain. They assume cheating, luck, or injustice. They struggle to genuinely celebrate others. This mindset also creates stinginess, not just with money, but with knowledge, kindness, appreciation, and trust. Ironically, the fear of losing money is the fastest way to lose it. People operating from scarcity avoid calculated risks. They hide cash under pillows while inflation eats it alive. They work just to survive, not to win. Psychology teaches us this: what you focus on expands. If your focus is lack, your brain will filter reality to confirm lack. You won't see opportunities because you're too busy watching closed doors. Abundance versus scarcity. People with an abundance mindset see the world differently. They don't see a cake, they see a candle. If I light my candle using your flame doesn't disappear. The room simply becomes brighter. They believe money and opportunity can be created, not just competed over. That's why they collaborate. That's why they invest. That's why they share. They know if money is lost, it can be recreated because value can always be produced again. You cannot attract wealth while secretly hating rich people. And you cannot build abundance while your inner world screams fear every time you spend. Mental prison number 3, instant gratification. We live in a world of one-click pleasure. Food in 10 minutes, entertainment 24/7, loans approved in seconds. This destroys our dopamine system and patience. Financially, it shows up like this: wanting to look rich instead of becoming rich. People with average income force themselves into luxury phones, fancy vehicles, and expensive vacations just for social validation. They buy things they don't need, with money they don't have, to impress people they don't even like. As Robert Kiyosaki describes it, this is the rat race. Work, get paid, pay liabilities, get stressed, spend to feel better, repeat. People with poor mindset eat their seeds. People with wealthy mindset plant them. They delay pleasure. They look boring. They build assets quietly and only enjoy luxury from harvest, not from consuming the seed itself. The ability to delay gratification is one of the strongest predictors of financial success. Short-term thinking creates poverty. Long-term thinking creates wealth. Reprogramming the mind. So how do we rewrite the software? The brain is plastic. It can be reshaped. First, change your inputs. You cannot expect a powerful life while consuming mental junk. Limit fear-based news, reduce meaningless scrolling, and replace it with books, podcasts, skills, and financial literacy. Wealth enters the pocket after knowledge enters the mind. Second, audit your environment. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Energy is contagious. Mindsets spread. You don't need to abandon old friends, but you must choose your exposure wisely. Third, change your internal language. Words are spells. Stop saying, "I can't afford that." Replace it with, "How can I afford that?" This single shift forces your brain to search for solutions instead of shutting down. Final reflection. Financial poverty is temporary. Mental poverty can be permanent. Money can be earned, assets can be built, debts can be paid, but if the end